In the late 1990s, Bang & Olufsen realised it was time to start designing the replacement for their very successful all-in-one hi-fi music system, the BeoCentury. They commissioned the same designer, the in-house guru David Lewis, to come up with his vision of what a 21st century all-in-one music system would be. And in the year 2000, the BeoSound 1 was launched. It launched with a price tag of £750 and was on sale until 2011. David Lewis was guided by minimalism for his design inspiration for the BeoSound 1. It marks a radical departure from the design language he employed for Bang & Olufsen products in the 1990s, where the function was on full display and you knew exactly what the product was doing, whereas in this, the BeoSound 1, everything is hidden away, out of sight, out of mind, and all you're left seeing is a large speaker grill or fret which hides everything behind it. This speaker grill here or fret is removable, and it was available in no less than 15 colours: black, silver, light green, russet, light blue, gold, dark blue, dark grey, violet, yellow, white, green, copper, orange and golden, which allowed the consumer to choose whatever colour they desire for the BeoSound 1, and it also meant that if this fret here got damaged, it was easily replaceable. Along the top of the BeoSound 1 is all the controls for the product. Hidden rubber buttons which are behind the top of the BeoSound 1 with a ergonomic shape here which is just the right size for your finger. Below this sits the CD drive, and when you open it up it reveals itself in a very majestic and very Bang & Olufsen way, presenting itself to the user, and the CD is meant to be placed in the metal holder rather than in here, as one might assume, as if you do this it's going to get stuck, and it's actually quite hard to remove. David Lewis couldn't resist allowing the CD to be on display and to show the user when it was playing, as you can clearly see that the CD and its progress is visible through this piece of opaque plastic. Around the back of the BeoSound 1, the minimalism theme continues with no obvious way of how you would connect anything to it. But behind this little port in the middle is your headphone jack. It was only underneath the base of a Bang & Olufsen BeoSound 1 where you could connect an auxiliary input through the 5-pin DIN plug, and you could also change or use your own FM antenna if you so desired. The Bang & Olufsen BeoSound 1 also features an FM stereo radio, and it has 59 presets, and to enhance the reception of those presets it has this, a retractable antenna, which might sound a little bit gimmicky, but it looked cool. However, it didn't really improve the reception of the radio stations that you were listening to, as around the frame of the Bang & Olufsen BeoSound 1 is an inbuilt antenna which was far more powerful. But it does look cool, doesn't it? The aerial is a solid piece of aluminium and can be controlled by this button here, or on the remote control.
Could be wrong, but I'm not sure about that.
If you're gonna let me down, I know that you will. I'm the one who's strong.
I wonder if they were versing them in the final, or they'd, anyway.
To ensure that the Bang & Olufsen BeoSound 1 has excellent sound quality, Bang & Olufsen equipped it with no less than 5 speakers, and those speakers can be seen by removing this fret or aluminium grill. The loudspeakers were arranged with a small woofer and a dome tweeter at each side for the left and right channels, with a mono subwoofer in the middle, Each drive unit had its own amplifier, and the sound for each was split up using an electronic active crossover network, bringing an unusually competent level of performance for a machine in this class.
I could be so dependable. I started to cry.
Swinging in the backyard, pull up in your
Come fly with me, let's fly, let's fly.
Across the water, like to see America.
How does the BeoSound 1 sound? Well, in isolation it has decent mid-range, some bass and nice crisp treble, leaving you with a pleasant sounding device. But it's very obvious that all the sound is coming from what feels like the center of the unit itself. Really like there's one big central speaker giving you all the sound, and it never feels like a wider stereo than it actually is, and that's a bit of a problem because compared to its predecessor, the BeoCentury, it falls quite short. And to show you what I mean, I'm going to need to take off the covers. With the covers off, things become a little bit more apparent. With the BeoSound 1, it only has these rather small 7 centimeter in diameter woofers, and they are spaced around 45 centimeters apart, but that doesn't tell the whole story. And the thing that means that this has a rather narrow stereo image or soundstage is because the subwoofer and all the bass notes are centrally mounted, which means that the sound coming out of the BeoSound 1 never sounds wider than the unit itself. In fact, I would say it really does feel like it's actually a little bit narrower, like the sound is actually coming out of here when you're listening to it. Now, comparing that to its predecessor, the BeoCentury, now at first glance, when comparing it to the BeoCentury, the BeoSound's predecessor, you might assume that the sound quality would be worse from the BeoCentury because it doesn't have the subwoofer like the BeoSound does. However, it's not the case at all. The BeoCentury's two main woofers are spaced around about 70 centimeters apart, and they are roughly twice the size of the woofers in the BeoSound. This means that the BeoCentury has a much wider soundstage and it has a much better quality of sound. It also has much deeper and richer bass. And what's really interesting about the BeoCentury speakers is that they are housed in these completely separate compartments which are not actually part of the main body of the BeoCentury. They're on these rubber parts and it's sealed.
Use the play button to start. Use the play button to start.
Now in that head-to-head comparison, it was obvious that the BeoCentury had a far deeper bass response and it had much better stereo separation than the BeoSound 1. And that brings us on to another point of possible contention with the BeoSound 1, as it doesn't feature any adjustability for bass and treble levels, which its predecessor, the BeoCentury, had, like most Bang & Olufsen products from the 1990s. Now, this isn't to say that the BeoSound 1 is a bad product. It's a really nice, all-rounded product, and it's much lighter and less bulky than its predecessor, the BeoCentury. But for my money, I would always go for the older BeoCentury, as it offers exactly the same features: a CD player and a radio, and also a tape deck if you're that way inclined, and it has much better sound quality. Summing up the BeoSound 1, it is a nice system. It's very colourful and it will fill your holiday home or your second lounge or maybe your bedroom with sound, but it doesn't do it quite as well as its predecessor, the BeoCentury. Now, if you enjoy content like this, then you should hit that bell notification icon and turn those notifications on so you don't miss the next time I upload another video. And leave a comment down below. Maybe you think I'm wrong about the BeoSound 1 or not. Anyway, if you're looking at getting a BeoSound 1, prices range from around about £300 to about £800 depending on the colour, the age and the condition. I was about to tell you guys about one redeeming feature that the BeoSound 1 has over the BeoCentury, which is the fact that it can be used as a radio alarm clock, or at least that's what the manual tells me it's supposed to be able to do. However, when I leave it in standby mode and click the backwards and forwards buttons, it goes into auxiliary mode, so perhaps it's not a radio alarm clock after all. Anyway, that brings us on to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and I hope to see you all again very soon.